So here are the most important information I want to talk to you about: expression of interest. If you're interested in the Australian migration system, one of the things that you realize is that when it comes to expression of interest happens to be the third stage when it comes to general skill migration. Beginning from the point of identifying your occupation, doing a skill assessment, having a positive assessment, and then you're going to do what we call expression of interest. Expression of interest is very important because it's the process by which you express your interest to come to an Australian state, and that is the system and how it works. It is a point-based system. Listen attentively. The fact that you're creating an expression of interest does not guarantee that you'll be invited, and does not guarantee that you have an Australian visa. Very important information that I want to share with you, because most people are not telling you the real truth and nothing but the truth. Number two is that you need to realize that any information that you enter in your expression, during your expression of interest, it's important to know that those information is being locked in. You cannot change them once you're being invited. Hence, what you can only do when you're invited is either to show additional evidence, provide all the evidences of what you have done and what you have provided and what you say you have. Very important. Now, let me say this here. For those who actually go through VETASys for their skill assessment, notice that most times they might not ask you to do an English test during your skill assessment as they ask other occupations. Hence, before you do an expression of interest, you must have an English test. Yes, I don't want to forget it. You must have an English test. An English test in Australia lasts for at least 3 years, regardless of which one you take, whether PTE, IELTS, or OET. All of them, TOEFL, all of them last for at least 3 years when it comes to general skill migration. Very, very, very important. Make sure all the information that you're going to be provided, you are able to provide the documentation for it. I can't stop stressing about it. Anything you talked about, if you say you have 3 years of experience, you should be able to provide evidence for it when the time arrives, because that is what you will be using to actually apply for your visa. Being invited does not mean that you get a visa. I've seen cases where people were invited and they still didn't get a visa because there were few hiccups here and there with the process of filling in their information. That is why you need to tell nothing but the truth and be very professional about it. Let's say you are already in another visa and you have an expression of interest. Let's say you're on a student visa and then you have a skill assessment and then you actually have an expression of interest and you are being invited. The only time that student visa will get into what we call a bridging visa is when your visa have been applied for. The moment you apply for your visa and once you get your invitation from a expression of interest, that is when your bridging visa starts counting. I will end by saying this: your point in the expression of interest is calculated during the time of invitation, not when you lodge it. For instance, when you're approving for a 491 expression of interest, the points are calculated when you're being invited, because that is how it works. Different occupations have different points that they need. Now, if you're interested in what I'm trying to say at the end of the day is that your age, your education status, years of experience, all of them are going to be point-based. They add to your point when it comes to the Australian skilled migration system. So at the end of the day, it is a point-based system, and your expression of interest is where it is being calculated. At the end of the day, you will see the summary of your score and then wait to be invited. I hope this makes sense to you. This is expression of interest, and it's the third stage when it comes to Australian migration. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. All right, this is Odoko Parara from Australia. Make sure you follow my page.